My name is Brady Piazzi, actress, singer, and all-around fabulous person. I'm also a trans woman trying to make sense of where our whānau is at in these exciting but challenging times. So, I'm going on a journey of discovery to record the unrecorded history of trans people of all generations. I want to know what their struggles were, how they overcame them, and how one generation built something beautiful and valuable for the next. This adventure of mine is all about confronting stereotypes, and I'm not going to disappoint you. Today, I'm meeting Lexie, a trans woman in her late 70s. Will she be in a dress? Wearing makeup? In heels? No, she will not.
There you go.
I'm of a generation where my father had been overseas during the Second World War, came back a mess, been really beaten about psychologically and physically. My mother knew, even when I was very little, when my dad was in Hamner having shock treatment, she dressed me as a girl, called me Sally. But when my dad came home, of course, and then when I went to school, the expectation is that I would live and behave in a way that was commensurate with my birth identity. I was precocious as a reader, so I read everything that was in the house. And we used to get a magazine called the Australasian Post. And we got this magazine one week, and there, in the back, there was a photograph of Christine Jorgensen.
Yeah.
And I looked at that and I read the article and I thought, that's me. I was 8.
Forget about Caitlyn Jenner. Back in the 50s, Christine Jorgensen, a glam trans actress and singer, became famous for undergoing one of the world's first gender reassignments.
And I thought, that's what I need. What am I going to do about that?
But back in those days, no one knew what transgender even was.
We didn't have the internet, nobody knew anything about it, so I was really private about that knowledge that I had about myself, but I stole the magazine and kept it under my bed for ages. Christchurch was an incredibly repressed place. If you were gay or a homo or a faggot in Christchurch, you were on the absolute outside. So I suppose I craved acceptance.
That craving for acceptance drove Lexie to become an excellent school rugby player. I had all the makings to be an All Black, but I didn't have the talent at all.
Everything else was there.
I could have.
I was the athlete with the brain who didn't respond and didn't enjoy the don't bend down and pick up the soap in the showers jokes. So I kept myself separate from that. It wasn't accepted that I was gay, it wasn't accepted that I was transgender, it was just accepted that I was different because I was a good enough player. I tried to find out who I was, my manness, through doing manly things. So everyone else would go for a 20-mile run, I'd go for a 100-mile run. I'd run 100 miles in a week just to prove that I was the man that I wanted my father to have as a son, and failed dismally. 8 years in the army, what am I doing? It was completely wrong, but it took a long time to get out of that state of denial about who I was, and some of my behaviours were, totally self-destructive. But eventually at the age of 50, I went, yep, I know what to do now. Every now and again I think, what would it have been like if I had been able to come out when I was 20, if that had been an environment. But it wasn't. It was when I was early 50s, relationship broken up, living alone in an apartment thinking, I'm going to do this. But that's going to be my life from now on. I will be living alone because who could love someone like this? The transition was terrifying. I went to a party and I never even got in the door. The sense that I was going to be judged as I walked through that door was so powerful that I went home to my 14th floor flat and I sat on the balcony and was ready to go off. It was touch and go. And the phone went and it was a friend saying, "What are you doing?" And so I got down off the balcony and I went inside and I thought, we've got to deal with this. And what I found was, instead of this massive amount of judgment from everybody, actually what I found was that most people couldn't have given a stuff. They either went, "Yeah, oh, that's Lexie, and we accept that," or "We don't want to be your friend anymore."
All trans people struggle with their mental health on this journey, and Lexie was no exception.
I think that was the thing in my transition that was the most extraordinary, that all of the self-destructive sexual behaviours, how I didn't get AIDS, I have no idea. But, all of those behaviours that are closeted, the cross-dresser, the secret cross-dresser, the not telling your family, all that stuff, it just went.
Yeah.
Literally overnight went, oh, I'm not driven to do that anymore.
But it wasn't just finding her true self that helped her heal.
The key moments for me, meeting Kushla was one. We found that we had a real affinity, that there was a kindness, and she was able to cope with the challenges of the up and down nature of gender dysphoria. It only just started my transition when we started to see each other, and I had to go, well, I can't go any further in this relationship without telling her. There were all the signs of this is why it's going to fall over. No, it'll fall over for this reason. Oh, okay, there's the transgender thing as well. So I did. I told her, and she just looked at me sort of confused and said, "Do you want pizza?"
You have to do what's right for you. You've got to, love who you love. And if you're in love with somebody and the fear is keeping you away, you've got to make that decision for yourself as to which is the stronger pull, the fear or the love.
Those small monumental moments that you remember, because it just gives you that massive tag of like, this person just gets it and still loves me anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And how can you love me in a way I don't love me?
Yeah.
How does that play out?
Yeah.
And of course then, when we went through the exercise of me becoming a Catholic, which didn't last that long, getting married, which has lasted 22 years, having decided to get married, we then had to have that big moment of, we're going to have children. And she threw the cat among the pigeons and said, I'd quite like to have one child. And that's, for me, the best thing that could possibly have happened, is that level of acceptance, being able to live in an environment, in a family.
What is family? And what keeps a family together? There are so many forms that can take. For this family, it's love, acceptance, and sport.
We got into karate through Finn. I went in to wake him up to go to preschool. And I said, did you sleep well? I don't sleep. Ninjas just rest their eyes. So this is this 4-year-old going, I'm a ninja. And Kushla went, we'll have to find him a martial arts class. And Kushla's sitting next to me. She said, I have to be part of this. She said, what about you? And I went, joking, I've got a bung knee, I'm overweight. I couldn't possibly do that. So in the end, I said, I'll do one class. And I had such mental clarity at the end of that class, I thought, no, I want this in my life.
Lexie Matheson, on behalf of the World Guru Karate Federation, Lexie Matheson is hereby awarded the rank of 3rd degree black belt from Okinawa Juru from the World Federation. Congratulations.
And for this high-achieving, non-traditional, non-binary family, crushing it at karate just isn't enough. They had to go and crush it at archery too.
I'm on the World Archery Gender Equity Committee. I turn up at Cornwall Park and there'll be 400 young people there shooting arrows. And Kushla always puts another chair next to me, which is called the guest chair, and people sit in it. And it's a number of times that our parent will come and say, oh, you're Lexie. Yeah, I hope you don't mind me asking this question, but my daughter has just said that she actually is my son, and I don't know what to do about it. Talk to those people for an hour. They will have a respect for their kid that they didn't have before, that the journey that they're on, that it's a safe journey, that it's not a journey that excludes parents, and that basically, do you love your child? Yes, keep loving them. Keep loving them, keep looking after them, keep supporting them, and protect them from the crap that they are inevitably going to get and that you're going to get as well.